North Caribou Lake First Nation is the latest remote community to celebrate the end of their dependence on diesel power for electricity. The community was connected to the provincial power grid last October and formally celebrated the milestone last month. Lee Noonan was there.
The North Caribou Lake substation now connects the First Nation to Ontario's power grid through the Wataynikaneyap power transmission line. It also serves as a connection point for communities further to the north. Following a blessing of the substation, the community celebrated the beginning of a new era of reliable energy.
I'm very excited and I was looking forward to this day. It has been a long time coming.
Chief Cornelius Benson says the old diesel generating station was unreliable, causing frequent outages, and didn't have the capacity to meet the community's existing needs, let alone support any new growth.
Now, since we have this main grid, we can upgrade more of our facilities and things that we use in our community.
And then last but not least, Ontario's Energy Minister Todd Smith was among the many dignitaries at the event. He calls progress on the Watay grid an extraordinary achievement.
1,800 kilometers of transmission line making its way through the tundra and the forests in northwestern Ontario, and that work being done 12 months a year in the middle of winter in very, very harsh conditions, and then a lot of the work being done during the pandemic as well. It is quite an accomplishment.
The celebration was particularly poignant for Wataynikaneyap CEO Margaret Kennequinash.
The need for reliable energy has been something that our community has been talking about for quite a long time. So I'm very happy to be home because this is my home community, and to celebrate with the community members. It's always good to build something, a foundation for our future generation, because without it, where is our little ones going to be? And we got to be visionaries in this, in anything that we do.
Kennequinash hopes to have as many as 5 communities electrified this fall. The next will be Wawa-Capiwin First Nation, which is celebrating their electrification on September 29th. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The OPP's Professional Standards Unit is continuing an internal investigation into the actions of one of their officers in Kenora. It stems from a video posted online which shows the officer attempting to euthanize a deer using the butt end of an axe. And a warning to viewers, the footage is disturbing. The video shows an injured deer out front of a Kenora home on September 3rd. One of the officers is then seen swinging the axe at the deer's head, and the axe slips out of his hands. In a statement, the OPP says this is not the way officers are trained or expected to deal with this type of situation, as the Police Act follows for the use of police-issued firearms to dispatch suffering animals. The video was posted online by Animal Justice, which lobbies for the humane treatment of animals. A spokesperson for the group calls the officers' actions cruel and inexcusable. Ontario Solicitor General was in Thunder Bay last month to announce the purchase of 17 new fire trucks for unincorporated areas in Northern Ontario, as well as 2 new mobile live fire training units. Michael Kersner made the announcement at the FireCon event. Lee Noonan reports.
The province pegs the cost of 2 new mobile live fire training units, 17 new fire trucks, and other firefighter equipment at close to $35 million. Solicitor General Michael Kersner announced the purchase at FireCon in Thunder Bay.
The investment of these assets will provide our northern firefighters, many of whom are volunteers, with the equipment and training needed to save lives.
The 2 new mobile training units, similar to this one, will double the Ontario Fire College's complement of units from 2 to 4. Ontario Fire Marshal John Pegg says the existing units are fully booked and will travel to 47 locations, training nearly 4,000 more firefighters this year.
Having additional units available to support Northern Ontario communities gives us the opportunity to reach more fire departments and more firefighters, who in turn will be better trained and ready to meet the demands of the firefighter profession.
Thunder Bay Atikokan MPP Kevin Holland, a former firefighter himself, says live fire training provides a crucial hands-on experience for firefighters that can't be replicated. He says the mobile units are particularly important to rural northern fire departments.
For volunteers in particular, when they have to leave their community to go to training, so a 3-day training now turns into a 5 or 6-day training, and they're losing time off work. They're losing time away from the family, and they're pulling the volunteers out of their communities for this training. So to be able to bring that training into the community is really vital.
The 17 new fire trucks and other equipment, which includes self-contained breathing apparatus and thermal imaging cameras, will be going to unincorporated townships covered by the Northern Fire Protection Program, which includes 48 communities, more than half of which are in the Northwest.
The benefits that these communities will receive with these 17 fire trucks, new fire trucks, to name a few, will improve resource deployment, maintenance costs, and distribution across the North, meaning saved lives in a timelier manner when every second counts. When absolutely every second counts.
A government spokesperson did not provide a timeline for delivery of the trucks and equipment and said they've yet to decide exactly where each truck will go, pending an assessment that will consider call volume and the age of existing equipment. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
The family of an elderly Fort Frances woman who died in 2015 is calling on the province to investigate the hospital where it happened. 76-year-old Hermina Fletcher died after a nurse falsified a morphine dosage in order to feed her own addiction. 38-year-old Lindsay Coyle is currently awaiting sentencing in the case after pleading guilty last year to criminal negligence causing death. It happened at the La Vérendrye Hospital in January of 2015. Fletcher's family is now calling on the Ford government to launch an investigation into the healthcare facility, as they believe other families may have been victimized by Coyle as well. The family's lawyer, Doug Judson, says Fletcher's death has shaken the community's confidence in the hospital, and he says Fort Frances residents need to know who else was at risk, how this occurred and for how long, and what measures are in place to prevent it from happening again. A transport driver from Edmonton has been charged after a single vehicle crash closed Highway 11 in the Beardmore area for over 6 hours. On September 24th at around 5:30 p.m., the truck went out of control and overturned just east of Rocky Bay First Nation, spilling its cargo of lumber and completely blocking both lanes. Beardmore paramedics and firefighters responded, along with officers from the Nipigon and Greenstone OPP detachments. The 31-year-old transport driver was later charged by OPP with careless driving. Well, after the break, we've got a story about a Red Rock man with autism who has now authored 2 children's books. Stay tuned.